The Grand Egyptian Museum just announced a soft opening. Cairo's new museum has released a statement saying that specific groups are going to be hosted at the museum. They're also going to be putting on some events, and they're going to be opening up select areas for visits. The GEM also announced it will be starting a trial operations period in which the museum is going to have select areas open. I'm Gus with Egypt Adventures Travel. I create customized itineraries for trips to Egypt, connect travelers with vetted and trusted Egyptian guides, and I also lead private tours myself. In this video, I'm going to talk all about the latest announcement we have from the Grand Egyptian Museum, what we know about the GEM's opening, and what we still don't know. I'm coming to you outside the famous Cinema Radio building in downtown Cairo. It's really good to be back in Egypt. For my viewers who are new to the talk of the Grand Egyptian Museum, Cairo has 3 museums that I covered in a previous video that go over pharaonic history, so the ancient Egyptian history that so many tourists come to Egypt to experience. The Egyptian Museum Cairo, located in downtown Cairo in Tahrir Square, has been around for over 100 years. The National Museum of Egyptian Civilization is a new museum that opened up several years ago in Fustat, a neighborhood about a 15-minute drive south of downtown Cairo. But this video, I'm going to be talking about the GEM, the Grand Egyptian Museum. This museum is not yet open, and when it finally opens, it's going to be the largest archaeological museum in the world dedicated to a single civilization. The museum's opening has been fraught with delays and with false starts and with announcements of openings that have never come to fruition. So with this latest announcement from the Grand Egyptian Museum, everybody's getting really excited that this might finally mean we could get a solid opening date soon. So what do we know about the GEM soft opening? Well, on November 15th in the evening, the Grand Egyptian Museum's Facebook page released a statement saying that they would be hosting specific groups and events at the GEM, and that certain areas of the Grand Egyptian Museum would be open to these events and groups, but not all of the areas. The GEM also stated that they'd be having a special operations period, and we're not exactly sure what that means, but it sounds like they're going to have a soft opening of these specific areas, not just to groups or for events, but also for the public. During this soft opening phase, visitors are going to be able to see the hanging obelisk square, the grand hall, the outdoor areas of the GEM, the cafeteria and other visitor services, and the children's museum. The Grand Hall is going to be the most interesting of these spots that will be open to visitors because it's going to contain the colossal statue of Ramses II, Ramses the Great. It's also going to have a bunch of other pharaonic statues, and there will also be the victory column of Pharaoh Merenptah and the Saqqara cannon. Unfortunately, though, the main parts of the museum that are going to house artifacts, like the Tutankhamun galleries and the other halls that are going to host thousands of ancient Egyptian artifacts, sculptures, and art, will not be open during this period. The GEM made that clear in their announcement. So essentially what the Grand Egyptian Museum is doing is they're kind of testing the waters here, testing their operational capacity, and they're opening up just the main parts of the building. The Grand Hall is essentially like the atrium or like the waiting room or the entryway. Of course, it's going to be massive and it's going to have these statues and these artifacts in it, and it'll be an amazing thing to see. But visitors should not expect to go to the GEM during this soft opening period and be able to experience the museum. It's pretty much like you're going to a museum and you're getting to see kind of the main entrance, and you're seeing about 10% of what's going to be on offer when the GEM does finally have its full grand opening. Now let's talk about what we still don't know about the Grand Egyptian Museum. I have no idea, and my colleagues in the travel industry in Egypt also don't know a specific date for when the GEM is going to be hosting groups or events. We also don't know a specific date for the trial operations period. So we really don't have any solid idea of when the average traveler to Egypt can expect to visit the Grand Egyptian Museum. It seems like right now, if somebody's gonna get into a visit to the GEM, they've probably already been notified about it or told about a specific event that's going on, or maybe they're a part of a select group, like somebody related to the Ministry of Tourism and Antiquities. Another thing we don't know is cost. there hasn't been any announcement about how much it will cost for these groups or for these events at the Grand Egyptian Museum, and once the special trial operations period starts, how much that will cost if your average tourist is able to go to the gem. We also don't know anything about potential private tours for specific groups of the Grand Egyptian Museum. I'm asked all the time if I can get somebody into the gem early, if they're willing to pay this amount, or if they're willing to pull these strings. And we just unfortunately don't know about that yet. So despite the limitations of what we don't know, I'm still really excited about this announcement because it shows that the Grand Egyptian Museum is moving toward an opening date. Now I'm hoping for an opening date sometime in early 2023. What do you think? Have you made your plans to visit Egypt already? Are you gonna change them based on the gem? Or are you still gonna go to Egypt and just visit the thousands of other wonderful artifacts and places that this country has to offer? Let me know in the comments below, and you can always sign up for my email newsletter, tinyurl.com/eat-newsletter, that's Egypt Adventures Travel, because I'm gonna be emailing out in my newsletter any information I have about the Grand Egyptian Museum. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'm Gus with Egypt Adventures Travel, and I'll see you later.